Just put the light on, guys. Just thought I'd do an update for myself as much as anything. Alexa, what's the time, please?
It's 6:14 p.m.
Hi, my name is Crystal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. What an interesting life I don't lead. Lol. So it is Saturday evening. I'm afraid I have a person that likes to make my life a misery, and there's nothing I can do about it. If I stay outside for too long, I get trouble, so I stay indoors. And I don't mind staying indoors. I've got lots of things to do. I've been washing up. I cooked bacon and eggs for my evening meal. And I've just been indoors most of the day. Because I don't want to travel to places to get annoyed, distracted and upset. When you go out, you want to enjoy yourself. So if you go to the seaside, you want to have an enjoyable time. You want to get some souvenirs, you want to go in the sea, and you want to enjoy yourself. But I'm afraid that doesn't happen when I go outside. No, it doesn't. And this has been going on for a very long time. When I was at school, in jobs, and I can't help it. I do not want to go outside to have trouble on the train or on the bus or at the seaside. I just want to relax and have a good time, but I'm afraid it doesn't happen that way, and it never has and it never will do. So I'm sat down right now and I was getting messages off of Facebook, and they're asking me loads of personal questions, and you don't give people the whole truth, to be fair, because then you're giving fuel to the fire. So if you tell them every little bit about yourself, they're going to use that against you and they're going to wind you up. So you just answer yes or no and just don't tell them the whole truth. And then they get wound up and tied up in knots and won't know where they are. But I'm not going to tell people the absolute honest truth. Right? I'm not. So I've just been in my flat and it's been relatively quiet because he hasn't been in upstairs, the neighbour that I've had the noise nuisance with. He's been out since probably about 10 o'clock this morning. The only noise that I've had really is the neighbour next door's been in all day. There's a black family next door and she's got a young child, and you can hear the child running up and down and jumping on the sofa and stuff like that, which is understandable. So she's been indoors all day with her young kids. I got a message earlier on, would I like to meet somebody, and it got exceedingly noisy next door. We've also had the washing machine on. You know, I haven't got a washing machine, so I hear someone else's washing machine going round and round and round for hours. Because when you hear the washing machine on my videos, that's my mum's washing machine when I'm round my mum's. I visit my mum, we argue, we have little arguments, but I still go and visit my mum. I don't leave her without any help or support or letting her feel like there's nobody there. I don't really speak to anyone these days apart from my mother. No one really checks up on me to see if I'm okay, and I'm used to that. Used to it. I would never, however much me and my mother have small arguments, I couldn't let her feel abandoned and on her own. I wouldn't do that. And you've seen me and my mother together, two women together, haven't you? You know who's who, and which is the older of us, and what both of us look like. So there's no excuse for this bullying shit on me, is there? So, Flirt Finder message started again. Remember, I've got to take Max out for a walk later on. So we get a Flirt Finder message at 5:49, and this is how one of my exes used to speak to me. How are you doing today? Gorgeous. Gorgeous. He used to come up to my flat at my old address and call me gorgeous. And then at 5:58, they've been in the garden most of the day. So they've been in their garden most of the day. Just chilling out though. How about you? Would you like my phone number? Then we could text each other. Well, I used to have 2 gardens. I used to live in a house with my ex-husband with 2 gardens. We had a garden at the front and a garden at the back. We split up, and he got the whole lot. He got the house and both the gardens. I am now living in a 1-bedroom flat with a balcony. I got the shit end of the stick, but I don't moan and complain because it's a very nice apartment. It's nice and big. It suffices for me, and I'm not complaining. I am trying to move, and hopefully I will move out later on and get somewhere with a small garden, hopefully, or a shared garden would do. Just somewhere I can put my lovely plant pots out and my garden ornaments. I've got a load of windmills from the co-op, bright rainbow coloured windmills on my balcony. And I live by myself. I don't need a huge, great place. So we're getting a load of noise from next door. It's a black lady. I think she's a single black woman who lives next door with her young children. And I keep getting someone, when are we going to meet? When are we going to meet? And then someone makes horrendous noises. I am a female looking for a single male. I'm not a woman looking for a woman. So it's the same old, isn't it? She's been indoors all day next door. So have I been indoors all day. I could go to places by myself. Don't get me wrong. I could go to places by myself. But the fact that I get so much hassle, you know, I'm gonna get noise and nuisance wherever I go. I've been to Canvas Sands. I've been to Margate. I don't want dog poo, dog piss and dogs sniffing me on the beach. I don't want to inhale cannabis sat on the beach. And I don't want to get involved in other people's arguments. When I go outside, I just want to be left alone and get on with doing what I'm doing. And unfortunately, that never actually happens when I go outside. It's the same when I go into a shop. Whatever I do turns into a massive, great palaver and a nuisance, which sometimes ends in aggression. So the whole of Saturday I've been indoors. I haven't gone out to a shop, not one shop. And I don't care who winds me up and says they've got a garden, they've been to the beach, they've done this and they've done that. That's their life, and good luck to them. This is my life, and I've gone out twice. I've got blisters on my bloody big toes, and I don't want to go out again. In fact, I forgot to soak my feet, which I'm going to do when I get off this video. Soak my feet in some hot, soapy water. So it's the same old person. Hello, gorgeous. Hello, beautiful. Have you had a great day today? I've done this, I've got this, and I've done that. But I'm not angry because my feet bloody hurt. They hurt. And I don't want to go out anywhere. I don't want to walk for miles. I don't want arguments. I don't want to lose my temper. I just want to be left alone. Simple. Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Manifesto, well, right now I don't think I could stomach voting Conservative again, but equally, once the manifestos are real and actually see the clear picture of what the parties are promising, that could change. In the local elections here in Bristol, I voted Green, but equally, I agree with them on a lot of their policies on a local level, but equally when it comes to international and foreign policy and other things, I don't think I could stomach voting Green, quite frankly. So I honestly don't know, but I don't think I'll definitely be voting for Labour because I'm just disenfranchised with just, after 14 years of opposition, all they've got to offer, well, we don't do all of this trust. It's just the bar is set so low, and that's just, yeah.
Ryan, thank you for your call. And echoing there something that Rishi Sunak himself said, that Labour have had 14 years to think of what they're going to offer the country. That is, I think, slightly disingenuous. Firstly, because the manifestos haven't come out yet, but secondly, because it's not their job to offer us anything at this stage. It's their job to oppose. Part of my problem with where Labour stands at the moment is that they are not, in my opinion, robustly enough opposing some of the very punchy-downy policies that are coming out of government. Yes, punchy downy is now a phrase that we will be using. 0345 6060 973 is the number to call if you want to get involved in this conversation. Mark has called from Bracknell. What would you like to say?
I think the original question was, is there anything that will change your mind? And
Yes.
The only thing that would change my mind is if one of them actually took the time and effort and bothered to turn up at my doorstep and ask me what concerned me. Because I haven't seen any political person on my doorstep since 1992.
Wow. Okay. And if you were asked that question on your doorstep, what would your response be?
I've got concerns locally about part of the NHS locally, which is, it's just a very local issue to my town. I've got issues, I want to see what's happening with policing and law and order and that side of things. But all I'm getting from politicians on the airwaves is taglines.
Right.
That's all there's no policy, there's no explanation how we're going to do this. It's just a bunch of, like Tony Blair when he came out of his education, 24 hours to save the NHS. There was no substance to it. It was just taglines to get a vote.
But he did come good on those, didn't he? In fairness to him, education and health both improved a lot under his watch.
There was a great thing on the education, because I had a family member who was a teacher. The kids used to take an exam when they were like 11 years old.
The 11 plus, yeah.
Well, wasn't they called 11 plus as such at the time, but they were given a score of either 3, 4 or 5, and they had to get 50% or more to get a 5. Tony Blair came in, reduced it from 50% to 44%, and do you know something? More got a 5 the following year. Isn't that incredible? Education was brilliant in the hands of Tony Blair because all he did was lower the mark that he needed to get the higher result, and then he can come out to everyone and say, under my tutorship, all these kids have got better results. So there's a lot of very crafty ways that politicians will play things, and that's both sides. I'm not just pointing at Tony Blair, that's both sides.
Of course, yeah. But there was also the reduction in class sizes and the record amount of funding that went into both education and healthcare. And I don't believe that Tony Blair was perfect, but he did have a winning formula, and it looks in some ways as though Keir Starmer is keen to copy that formula, but it's different circumstances that we find ourselves in now, isn't it? So how do you think the two compare in terms of their popularity?
I think all politicians' popularity has gone down. End of, irrespective of party. I think a lot of people have just pulled their hair out and gone, this lot of, they're very interested in their own jobs. Before Keir Starmer, he was swearing blind that Jeremy Corbyn was the best thing since sliced bread. The moment Corbyn lost, he coasted straight out of the party.
Yeah,
So, And that's not just Starmer. This is. I mean, you can only look at the infighting. I mean, how many people in the Tory party have got a knife ready to plunge into the back of the man in front of them?
I think that's a fair observation, Mark, and something that you've hit upon there, which is a thought that I've been having a lot recently, which is people have really lost, I think, their faith in politicians, their faith in the democratic process. There is a loss of faith in many quarters of the media as well. And what that leads to is apathy. And apathy is anathema to democracy, because we need people to be politically engaged and to believe in something and to believe that the world can be better. It's an apathetic nation that ends up with ultimately dictatorship, I think, because people are too busy kind of looking the other way on and not particularly being bothered. And that's when those with nefarious intent will be very quick to take the reins and to seize an opportunity. So I suppose a kind of secondary question that we could be asking this hour is, how do we counteract that apathy that a lot of people feel towards politics at this present moment? Is there anything that you have heard from either Starmer or Sunak this week that has revivified you, re-energized you, made you want to dive back into political discourse? 0345 6060 973 is the number to call. Just a reminder, the main question I'm asking you this hour is, we don't know when the general election is going to be, but it's probably going to be in the second half of this year. What could be a game changer between now and then that would fundamentally change your present voting intention? That number again is 0345 6060 973. You're listening to Natasha Devon, and it's 6:30 now, and time for the news headlines with Dan Wilson.
A boil water notice has been lifted for the majority of people affected by a parasite outbreak in South Devon. South West Water has kept restrictions in place for 2,500 homes around Brixham, where dozens of people have fallen ill. Tunisia's National Guard says 23 migrants are missing after setting off in a boat towards Italy. The country says it has deployed floating units and has informed the Navy to help in the search. And laws overhauling how army mobilisation works in Ukraine have come into force. It will allow officials in the country to more easily identify every conscript as it aims to increase the size of its army amid the ongoing war with Russia. LBC weather, showers fading across southwestern parts of the UK this evening to leave a dry night with some clear spells, a low of 9 degrees.
This is LBC.
Imagine, it's Saturday. 1 minute you're lying on the sofa, horizontal, in your pyjamas.
Right, guys, I'm just gonna wait until it's time to take Max out, and carry on like I normally do. With stupid flirt finder messages, getting nowhere, and everything staying the same. See you later.